Good evening. My name is Mala Tamanak. I live in Nanjemoy. And I just wanted to share with you, and I think it's appropriate given the discussion we had this evening, my experience of over 32 years working for the Navy. And what I did was, I'm not a lawyer, but I worked with lawyers very closely. And for over 32 years, I read and interpreted OSHA and EPA instructions, and then translated them into Navy regulations that even a sailor could understand. So I took a look at your time for personal appearances section that you're going to probably revisit. And I just wanted to give you the benefit of my experience reading regulations and interpreting them for people to understand. Overall, that paragraph that says a time for personal appearances is an inclusive paragraph. It's not exclusive. The Commission invites citizen participation regarding the affairs of the county. If it's on your agenda, it's an affair of the county. You want to hear from us. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that's not scheduled on the agenda, now speak on a matter, not just tell you to put it on the agenda, but speak on it, may request to do so under this personal appearances section at the beginning of each session. And then the chairman at his discretion may add that item to the agenda. Once it's on the agenda, it's the affairs of the county and is open for discussion. As a general rule, the Commission reserves the right to take immediate actions on items presented under personal appearances. So I just wanted to clarify for you, that's inclusive. It's not exclusive. It says you can't talk about what's on the agenda. It says not only can you talk about what's on the agenda, the public may ask to put additional items on the agenda to talk about. And that's what I wanted to present to you. That's what my experience overall has been. Thank you.
Thank you, young lady.
Good evening, I'm Linda Redding. I live in Nanjemoy. That was quite a shell game. I don't think it fooled anybody. You can't rewrite history. I was here that night. The applicant requested a deferral. The motion to defer failed. Should not even be on the agenda tonight. I recently attended the Indian Head 100, which is a major cyclist event with 1,000 registrants. One of the routes is Adams Willett Road. I don't know if you've ever driven on Adams Willett, but it turns into Hancock Run, which isn't even wide enough to have paint on, because if they drew a line in the middle, neither side could accommodate a car. So we're often worried about, oh, the applicant might sue us. Well, who's going to take responsibility when people are injured or killed on that road? The county advertises these roads as a cycling boon, a place to go cycling, and I got 240 participants to sign a petition. Everybody was very worried about this. This commission has the ability to protect us, and often we are subject to developers whose legacy will be destruction. But nothing is sadder than the people who are responsible for protecting our resources and our quality of life who do not do so. So you kill the golden goose when you kill the tourism that is coming here for cycling, and there are creeks where we have bass tournaments. The ecosystem services study you received says that there's $3,100 an acre per year of ecosystem services that these forests provide. These three applicants projects that are first on the agenda tonight, that's 300 acres, that's $930,000 of ecosystem services a year we could lose. It's obvious that some developers don't equate environmental justice with social justice, but it's most sad, again, when the people who are supposed to protect us don't. The two developments on here that are also related, the Ironsides Escape and Shepherd's Crossing, Crossroads Shepherds, are actually adjacent to each other. They really constitute one major development. they're not in the spirit of the comprehensive plan. And I want to find out how many other developments are in the pipeline that are going to be subject to approval or disapproval prior to the comp plan. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I'm going to submit this petition and the ride route, and I want them part of the minutes. Thank you.
I live in Nanjum with Mary Pat. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I only have two things to say. I understood from past experience of attending these proceedings that personal appearance comments should not be directed to agenda items, so I'm not going to do that. I have prepared a letter for the clerk of the Planning Commission. However, since I do have thoughts on the subject, and I will give them to you, and I'm sending that writing to the clerk in the hope that by doing so, I may be considered to be invested with standing to comment on a series of pending housing development projects. The only other thing I have to say is that I wish to commend the members of the Planning Commission for their public spiritedness in nominating our new comprehensive plan for consideration of an American Planning Association award. The Planning Commission will be dealing with many fateful decisions as it works with the public to implement the plan. If our county is considered worthy of an award for the quality of its effort, let us hope that it does not also become necessary for the APA to issue a postscript certificate of profound disappointment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Mary Pat Doherty. I live in Nanjemoy, have for almost 17 years. I love living here, but it has its costs. Knowing what it takes to live here, I can't quite figure the demographic for all the new development. Narrow and unique comes to mind. The pitch is, come live way out in the country where the trees have been cut down, on top of your new neighbors, with unsafe roads that flood, no grocery store, no gas station, miles to public transportation, an overcrowded elementary school, no high school, and no internet connection, but your teenager will love it here. Your service people will dread coming here if you can get them to come in the first place, but you can work that out. Free cooler with blue ice for your 30-minute trip to town. Thank you.
Austin Doherty, and then Linda Redding.
Thank you, Nancy, and everyone else. Okay. First item on the agenda, the preliminary plans of subdivision.
I think you're still on personal appearance.
Oh, I'm sorry, personal appearances. I'm sorry, personal appearances.
You want to go ahead and call?
Sure, go ahead.
Ken Hastings, and after Mr. Hastings is Mary Pat Doherty.
He's going to ask me to speak.
And we are timing.
Time's up.
Might as well be.
Bear with me, bear with me.
Hi, my name's Ken Hastings. Wow, I don't know where to start on this conversation. Certainly, I recognize the issues that are going on here, but I was here for that meeting on the 8th, and I've heard things here tonight that I did not see happen, and I really question whether or not things went down exactly that way. For one thing, there was a long discussion started by this little private thing that went on up here with the county attorney's office at the time about how this is going to proceed. Were they going to get to come back later on? Was there going to be a vote of some kind to do something else and all? And when it was all over with, it was decided that there would be a vote to see if it was going to go on. And that vote was tied, and I understand, from my limited understanding of Robert's rules, and from discussion happened around this table at the time, which was split, everybody didn't agree, was that the Since it was a tie vote, the issue failed to move to another day, and so that was the end of it. And so through all the shenanigans that went on here that night, that was pretty much the end of it. And I started waiting to see, okay, now it's been a month now. I thought something's going to come up here, and I'm going to learn something that I didn't know before, which there's a blank slate there somewhere that people are welcome to write on. So it didn't happen that way. And I know there was a disagreement here. Mr. Ball and the county attorney representative did not agree on what it meant to have a tie vote in that case. And it was going to be heard later on. They were going to get together. Somebody's going to decide something. But that never happened. Now, all of a sudden, it's all gotten mixed up. And I do not understand why the minutes had to be withheld for all this time. The minutes stand on their own merits. It wasn't necessary to hold the minutes back and get them all mixed up in this. What happened here, and that's just the way it is. So there was no need to hold the minutes back and to get them all tangled up with this he said, she said nonsense that we've been hearing here tonight. This is not a confidence builder. I mean, to sit here and watch this, I come to these things regularly. And I really wanted to understand what was going on here, but there is no way I can understand it. For one thing, certainly there's a lot of microphone use impediments around here tonight, and I only heard half of what's going on, but I'm confident that sometime when I actually look at the minutes and I see what happened, I can reconstruct everything that happened here. However...
Mr. Hastings, please summarize.
Okay. I do not understand how this process works, obviously, because we had a hearing here, and people on the 8th, and people said, this is what we're doing, and this is the way it's going to go. And when we left, everything changed. And now we have different sets of minutes going around that no one has seen, and that no one in the public has seen.
Mr.
And I don't
Hastings,
come here to be wild and amazed. I would really like to understand it.
Thank you.
I figured that my time was pretty much up when I sat down. Thank you.